Here I am, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Better late than never. Wasn't supposed to be doing a stream today, but it's Veterans Day in the United States, so I've took a day off and I'm going to go and get pissed with all of the veterans from work. That sounds like a much better day than bothering going to work for a change. How's everyone doing? Can police have shared loudly and proudly multiple child sex offenders? Obviously, they've done so because they are also a lying, manipulative, devious sack of woke rats who are purposely omitting the information about tens of thousands of foreign sex offenders, and they're putting the white ones front and centre because obviously we're living in upside down world. And when 250,000 children get diddled on the government's watch while the Prime Minister and hundreds of ministers and lords and senior police chiefs and judges and lawyers cover for them, obviously it's in their interest to put a nice fat poppy on their profile picture and then spend years constantly pushing a false narrative to the general public on social media. Brilliant. And then really, really, really stupid people respond to things like this and go, this is good, isn't it? It's not good, no. And they say things like, why aren't the white people saying anything about it? Why aren't the right-wing people saying anything about it? Well, we're still saying what we always say about it, which is fire up old Sparky and put the national grid on standby because they're going to be toasting people for the next 6 weeks if we win. That's what we say. We don't need to change anything, do we? Easy. I don't need to change anything. I'm not being hypocritical. I've got the same boring stance I've always had, which is I'm more than happy to fry the plums off kiddie fiddlers, but you're the ones who covered for them. Senior police chiefs, Labour and Conservative politicians, House of Lords, Lib Dems. You're the ones who helped them do it, lads. Is that why you're chippy about it and you try and say the exact opposite's the truth on social media? You present exceptions as rules and then say, see, we're the good people. You're not. You're not. You covered for foreign kiddie fiddlers. We have been very consistent in what we think we should do with those people. And it generally involves electric chairs, wood chippers, fire axes, and anything else you might want to use for a improvised weapon. Anyway, bit of a rant to start with. Thanks for the £2, Joe. Start as you mean to go on. Yeah, righteous anger. That's what I like. It's my favourite. Thanks to everyone who popped in. Craig, you're at 300 already. That's fast. Rickster, how you doing? Matt N7, now then. Grasshopper, all right. Testies in again. Council Estate Rates. John Hunter. Stu Cade, how are you? Who else? Resistant Geordie, feet first. There's a plan I can get behind. So it's a crazy time to be alive, isn't it? It's mental. Up is down and left is right. Which is why today's video was particularly pertinent on this weekend, this Veterans Day weekend, or Armistice / Remembrance Day. If you're in the UK, it's awful. Up is down and left is right, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because all that matters is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth shall set you free. All institutions are corruptible. We've seen that. House of Lords. There's nothing more. If you're English. And, you were born when the world made sense in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. There was nothing more upstanding, no more fine examples of British tradition and authority than the House of Commons and the House of Lords. But we all know what they've been up to. The average burglar or drug dealer from a council estate has got more moral fibre than the average British politician or lord or lady or judge or lawyer. So you can have whatever institutions you want. It doesn't matter. It's worthless. Some people, in fact, should we do a bit of a reaction video today? Shall I throw up some of the responses to my last piece? Because I'll tell you what, I have read some gibberish in my time. But the response to that video is astounding. Astounding. These are the people. These are the people. The establishment that have overseen the whole-scale corruption of everything good in the world. They've sacrificed innocent children on the altar of political correctness. Innocent children, all of Rudu Kanubu's victims, little Safi at Manchester Arena, all those women and children who've had their lives ended in grotesque displays of violence, assault, surprise sex, torture, murder, kebab meat, acid in the face, the lot, the worst, most ignominious filth from all of human history. The stuff they've let happen is as bad as anything Mengele did, right? And they'll go, ooh, that plumber's going to vote for reform. He's a bad person. Are you having a laugh? Do you presume to have some authority over me because you've got the establishment on your side? Really? And then they say things like, oh, what you doing wearing a poppy for then? Well, wear what I like. No bed. Because I've got conviction and honesty and truth and justice on my side. You want to side with the face melters and the baby diddlers and the suicide bombers and the surprise sex enthusiasts from the third world. And Peter Mandelson and Tony Blair. You knock yourself out, son. I don't need some fancy title behind it, some meaningless title. Sorry. And a daft wig or a daft hat or letters behind my name to know that I'm right and you're wrong, and the angels are on my side, not yours. I've never thrown acid in a little girl's face. I've never hidden sex crimes permitted by Pakistanis and Algerians and Moroccans on little girls. Your side has. So don't presume ever to lecture me. In fact, you don't want to get in a fight with people like me, do you? Because we actually believe what we say. We've got the courage of our convictions, and you are a self-serving oxygen thief of a man. You are a worm if you side with the establishment over your own people. And that's why, in the end, like all weak men, you will lose because you haven't got the courage of your convictions. You know, deep down in some dark corner of your soul, you know that you don't have the right of it. That's what's going on here. So you can leap into your shield of conformity or, say, yeah, but we've got all the people of quality like Tony Blair and Peter Mandelson. Yeah, well, I've got an angry mob and about 65% of the country, probably more, 70, 80. This is, again, why Solzhenitsyn's words have come so true. When he's talking about they know we know they're lying and they know that we know that they know they're lying, but nobody cares. This is how the world is now. This is how the world is now. The vast majority of the United Kingdom, the vast majority, is on the exact same page as me. And they know that Tony Blair and Peter Mandelson and Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson are liars, rank liars, self-serving scum, hypocrites who let foreign men torture and murder children. The most evil people on the planet. And they know it's true. And everybody watching this knows it's true. I'm not telling you any lies. This is what conviction looks like. I don't need a script. I don't need to read anything. This is what conviction and self-belief looks like when you sleep like a baby every night because you know you're on the right side of the argument. And you retreat into your little, the Spectator agrees with me and that's the establishment. I don't care. I don't care about your establishment. What, Fraser Nelson? Oh, okay, let's quote him. These people are degenerates. I don't care if you think you've got the Royal British Legion on your side. How many skeletons have they got in the closet? I've just showed you that. Christ almighty. The argument from authority, these people actually think it's worth something. As I said, one of my favourite bits off Rome, when he's like, oh, we've got the men of quality, we've got the Lictors Guild. And he goes, oh, the Lictors Guild. Well, I've got 20,000 angry men who will rip your tongues out and nail your hands to the front of the Senate doors. So poke the Lictors Guild. I don't care if they've got the BBC and the College of Policing and the House of Lords. These institutions are meaningless to anybody with a moral compass. The bright light of sunshine when shined upon institutions like the College of Policing shows up a deeply corrupt, malevolent entity that preys on the innocent. So don't tell me, oh yes, but I've got this journalist from the BBC. Helen Pluckrose agrees with me. I couldn't give a monkey's fart because I'm right and you're wrong and you know you're wrong and you know that I know that you know you're wrong, but you don't care, do you? Because you think as long as you control these little institutions, you can lie to 70% of the population and you can do it with a straight face, even though the 70% knows that you're lying. And you can just keep doing it because you control the men of quality. But it's all built on sand. It's all built on sand. They know it, you know it, everybody watching this knows it. It's meaningless. And when it comes to the crunch, when it really comes to the crunch, nothing they say has any power. All that matters is right and might makes right. So they're in the shit when it kicks off, and it most definitely will one of these days. Anyway, now that the initial rant's over, shall we have a quick look at this video that I'm talking about? Because I just want to go through some of the comments. How do you put on responded to? Can you see that? Yeah. Right. Patton said that. Yes, he did. Paz responded, my neighbour's garden, he has no idea I make videos in it. Where's the ones that you actually responded to? Because, honestly, some of these blokes I was arguing with genuinely astound me. And that's who I want to have the argument with. But I can't see it now. I'll tell you what, I'll have to open a different thing. It's mental. And did you see, anyone who hasn't watched it, you can go and have a check it out now. The poor old get who's on there, 100 years old. And he's got more sense than anyone running the country. It's absolutely mental. And there's people having a pop. Said, oh, I can't believe you're having a go at the RBL. Again, as if the institution means anything. It doesn't. It's completely meaningless. Nobody has no institution is immune to corruption. And it doesn't matter how old an institution is or how long it's been there for. If it's corrupt, it's corrupt. You have to be willing, in an age where our foes have just gleefully took a wrecking ball to everything you hold dear out of malevolence on purpose. Who cares what institution you're talking about? This is on purpose. I've told you this. They will take everything. You immunise yourself against it with stoicism and good humour like me. They've took everything. Everything. If, like, things as far apart as ancient magazines and media organisations and the BBC, all the way to, like, Marvel Comics and Star Wars and Star Trek and any institution you can think of, the RBL. If everything has been consumed out of spite, what institutions should we revere? What should we revere? I don't even revere the institutions of the Royal Marines or the Royal Navy. I don't. Because it doesn't matter, does it? The institution is irrelevant. What matters is what's in your head and what's in your heart and the characters of the people you stand with and all the lads who I was close to, and many who I still remain close to in the military, who served together. It's not about the corps or the beret or the institute. It's about the cause, the fight for freedom and actually doing what's right and what you believe in. Everything else is window dressing. So this argument by authority is worthless to me. I don't care. I don't care about your shit arguments about, oh yeah, but technically, actually, I don't. You're just wrong. So there you go. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Remember you'll be fighting for Diane Abbott and David Lammy. Yeah, exactly. It's a trick. Getting you in there now is a trick. They're just trying to feed you into the meat grinder. They want you to go and get killed. Do you remember back in the day when we very first invaded when the war kicked off between Russia and Ukraine? And I was telling everybody who would listen, and I made videos about it. Because who was it? I was astounded at the time. Who was the foreign secretary who went on TV and said British citizens should go and fight the Russians? Who was that? You're talking about once proud establishment organisations. Who did that? Does anyone remember? Because I can't. But I made a video all about it. I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now. It's hard to remember. Go and fight. Go and fight the Russians. That's a good idea. Don't. Because it's people like with my character, but slightly less world-weary, who would go and fight the Russians. They would willingly feed the bodies into the meat grinder for David Lammy's global conflict, David Lammy's aims. It's unbelievable. And these people... It was Liz Truss, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Liz Truss. Yeah. It's... don't let them. Don't like this colour. Can I change it? There we go. Dark green's mine. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So no, I don't want to go and fight in a war that'll help Tony Blair, Klaus Schwab, and David Lammy and... oh no, I keep reeling off all the words now. I nearly said Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer.
Ha! Gay!
I owe you a David Lammy.
If it feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished, it's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now.
That's amazing, isn't it? That is amazing. Here, you can have a Gordon Brown as well, because he's just as
Now,
bad.
evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
And because you haven't seen it for a while, you can have this one of the Lambtron as well.
Furthermore, I am a bell end.
You can tell that's not him, though. He hasn't got a broad African accent. So it is. It's a mad state of affairs, and these people think they're making a solid argument. Oh, how dare you criticise? How dare you criticise the Royal British Legion? Shut up. Are you having a laugh? These people are repellent. Absolutely repellent. The DEI diversity officer running the British Legion at this point. Are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, in fact, I guarantee more veterans, more war veterans, not people who sat on the shiny arses, more people that actually fought for a living, see things my way than yours, lefty arsehole. It's ludicrous. The RBL's got absolutely millions in the bank, and they sit on it. It's corruption. They'll be spending it on child hookers and beak. These people are scum. Look at the whole thing with the scandals with all the cash, where they paid 100 grand for a logo. 100 grand for a logo. I'd make them a logo in 10 minutes for nout. Tell me roughly what you want. Bang, there you go. Easy. It costs them 100 grand because 80 grand of it's gone up someone's nose. They've had about 6 parties and they've all spunked it up the wall. 20 grand probably got sent to Al-Qaeda. These people hate the UK. They hate the UK. They hate everything about it because they've been indoctrinated, totally conditioned to hate the UK. The followers of a global ideology. We all know what the ideology is as well. We all know everything about it. I don't need to know anything else about the ideology they follow. I know their ideology better than they do. I know it upside down and backwards. I know what they believe in. I know everything they think. I've been arguing with them about it for 10 years. Do I need to tell you what they think? Surely nobody that watches this channel needs to be told what they think, do they? Because you all know what they think. Up is down, left is right. Bad is good, good is bad. That's what they believe. It's not hard, is it? I did get asked about this one, recommending a decent veterans charity. I put a link in the description for the video I made for one that Jim Davison was set up. And a bloke like that, he used to be big fan of the RBL, didn't he? Did a lot of work for them. But now, obviously, he's set up his own little thing. So that's what you should do. You should support people like that. Not these gigantic, corrupt. Here we are. Here's a good one I wanted to go through. So look at this here. So this knobhead, probably a Scouser. Considering the way LGB were treated if their secret was found out, I'm afraid I don't have the same anger as you. I know many serving personnel who had to live a double life, not only because they'd get filled in, but because they face instant discharge with no pension. Well, definitely not in the last 50 years, because there was openly gay people in the military when I joined in the 90s, and you didn't get an instant discharge with no pension. I believe that written into the law that there was no longer a don't ask, don't tell policy in like the 90s. So this is nonsense. He says, I guess skimming over it to include the word woke is what brings the YouTube hits. Well, it isn't, no, because the biggest videos you make are slop with no effort, like reaction videos, and I don't make them. If I wanted to just make money, I'd do like a Warhammer channel or whatever pop culture shite big at the moment. Movie reviews is easy to do, isn't it? I do easy shit like that. But I don't. I do this because I like arguing with knobheads, because I like changing people's minds and living in the hope that one day someone who hasn't got the IQ of a pork pie will actually rebel against the conditioning and say, oh yeah, you're right there. So I told this fella, there was an openly gay soldier at 40 Commando with me, Stu. Funny thing, right? I could tell you his surname. It's called Stuart. He was gay. Everyone knew he was. They used to call him Beef Stew. Because obviously bootneck slang, beef can mean practicing homosexual. So, Beef Stew, no problem. The one thing they taught us when we were out there, and what you learned, is that you don't see any of that. When I was in recruit training, there was guys from all over the place. There was brown people, black people, because by the 90s we were struggling to recruit. We were bringing people in from the colonies. We had a guy from St. Vincent. There were several minorities there when I was in training. No problems, ever. Ever. Because you get taught. Training in the mud and the filth, getting blew up, or shot at, or stabbed. Having to stick an FFD on the sucking chest wound of a wounded colleague in the sands. You don't see colour or creed. You don't care at all. You just get behind the mission and each other. It's a brotherhood, forged in, bonded in blood. And yet these lunatics, well, I'll read you it. I said, listen, nobody cares. We all bleed red. I said, your ideology is toxic and your message is hateful. I said, you people are just authoritarian red fascists that cloak yourselves in an aura of respectability by calling yourself progressive. And this knobhead says, oh, well, there was one trainer at Purbright, I think he means, who recently told the group he was teaching that they had one in their regiment, so they all kicked the shit out of him. What, and that was the end of that story, was it? Did they just kick the shit out of him? And then what, they were mates with him the next day? Probably not a true story, because everybody likes to be a victim. Wankers, some of which are soldiers, like to play the victim. But again, tell me if this isn't a logical point. I said, we can all throw allegories and anecdotes around till the cows come home. What's important is who's actually correct here. The poppy represented everyone since the very first day people ever first started wearing the things to commemorate the dead. Just because a bunch of politically indoctrinated middle managers decided that in about 2016 it would be more inclusive to segregate everyone by including a dozen different stripes on the front doesn't make it right. And in 1985, the blood red poppy represented the dead of every single persuasion. Case closed. Only an imbecile would think otherwise. And this keeps going. But at the end of the day, is there anything not factually accurate about that statement I've just made? It's preposterous that we're living in an era where people think they've got the right to this, that there's nothing logical about it. You can only think it's logical if you're completely indoctrinated. If you start to think about it and put any effort in at all, it's irrational. This here it is, look. Campaigners blast £8 poppy appeal badge with pride flag attached. Another pointless and deeply offensive exercise in wokeism. This is why I was so angry and what moved me to make that video. because literally since the 80s, since I was a kid, and my granddad, like I said, both my granddads fought on the front in the First World War, infantry. My granddad Fred got blew up, and he crawled through a minefield and got I don't think it was as high as a military cross, but he got the third highest on it you can get, and he was in the local papers and everything, and he told me all about it. And when he tells you that story as a kid and shows you the newspaper clippings and the medals, it has a profound effect on you. And when he says to you, these are to remember the dead from the war, and that's it. He never said, this is to remember the English dead. It's just the dead, including the Germans. If the Germans are in on the act, why, by all that's holy, if the blokes that are in the SS and the victims are represented by a simple blood red poppy, why, tell me why this thing needs to be on it now? What does it even mean? What does it even mean? What do the colours mean? If brown and black represent what? Brown and black gays? Well, what's the red one then? Sunburned northern twats who go to Tenerife and don't put any sunblock on. It's never had anything to do with colour. Yellow, is that Japanese homosexuals? No, it isn't. It's ridiculous. So that poppy represented everyone. And then this fuckwit with a straight face, a poppy that represented the dead of every possible ethnicity, region, dialect, sexuality, height, weight, age, anything, was represented by a single red poppy. Who the fuck do you think you are, demanding your own precious little stripe there? And then you can't even have the rainbow because, hang on, we have to have a black arrow popping up out the side. And then we need a stupid circle at one end to represent a prolapsed shit locker because 2,000 blokes bounced on it on Saturday night. It's unbelievable. And a nice little off pink for like herpes or whatever it is. You don't need any of it. All you need is that. That's everyone. So this is bollocks. And if you don't think it's bollocks, you don't know anything. Because I could start arguing with that. If everyone gets a stripe and a colour, well, I want one. I want one. Why should the North be stuck in with the South? I'm a chippy Northern prick. Why should the North be stuck in with the South? Why should the Welsh, the Scottish, the Irish and the Northern Irish be stuck in with all of us? Tell you what, we need a thistle, a rose, a leek, a dildo. We need them all on there as well. And I want like an outline of York, because that's the northern capital, and I don't like London, that's the southern capital. I'm not having that. Put those two outlines on there as well. And then put a short man and a tall man. Put a basketball player and a dwarf and a raving homosexual and a bear to represent the furry community. Put them all on the fucking poppy. And have a poppy the size of a bin lid and put it around your fucking neck on a bike chain and go to a shit parade with that. You stupid bastards. And then Peter Tatchell rocks up at the fucking cenotaph with a daft pink triangle. Do we need a daft pink triangle at the cenotaph? Christ almighty. This is why I get pissed off. And then this thick twat is still arguing with me. This one. Technically, actually, what about the stripes? Pink triangle. Fuck the pink triangle. We don't need a pink triangle. It was perfect how it was. Let's get a good picture of the cenotaph. There you are. There's a good one. Why is there so many adverts on all the papers now? Just piss you around with adverts so you can't see anything. Come on. Where is it? Jesus. Well, it wasn't like that on Google. Everything does me in now. Making that video annoyed me today because I was trying to make a video and I was trying to get onto the LinkedIn for that woke psycho, and everything I clicked it said, "Oh, we need to have an app. Oh, you need to tell us what your real identity is. Oh, use this app. Tell us who you are. Upload your passport." How shit is everything now? So I keep saying, if anyone who can remember the 80s has got to be fucking raged. Everything about the modern era is shit, isn't it? Everything is fucking shit. I don't want to be asked for my passport if all I want to do is fucking lube up and fling myself around my bedroom. If my wife's visiting the mother-in-law and I finally get the chance to shuffle one off, which doesn't happen very often when you're married, can't even do that because as soon as you get your conkers out, you've got to fucking scan your passport. What a load of shit. Everything is shit. And now I can't even see a picture of the cenotaph because they're trying to fucking get me to get my bell end out and scan it. What is this shit? Open image in a new tab. Can I just do that? No, that's disappeared. Oh, there we are. Finally, I can do that. Fuck the adverts. There's the cenotaph. Does it need a pink triangle? Does it need a pink triangle on there? It does. Oh, okay then, Mr. Progressive. Well, then it needs a different colour triangle. It needs a yellow triangle. It needs a black and a brown triangle. It needs a little weird circle on it because fuck knows why. Needs a furry. Needs a diddler. Needs a minor attracted person on there. Needs a Somalian. Needs an Iraqi. Needs an Afghan. Needs a Moroccan. Needs an Algerian. Needs a Canadian. Needs an Australian. Fucking how is this inclusive? You know what's inclusive? One red flower. That's what's inclusive. That's why it angers me so much. Because this is what I'm saying. Wankers like James McLean, who I used to proper kick off about because he was a proper little oily, fucking self-loathing, I wish I was Irish ratbag. Although he is actually Irish. Is he actually Scottish who wishes he was Irish? Or is he at least Irish? I want more time for them. But we spent 20 years telling people like that. Of course you don't need to have... Of course you can wear a poppy, son. If your dad died fighting for the British Army in Germany, but he was a lifelong Irish Republican, well, the poppy represents him. If your dad was in the SS, the poppy represents him. If your dad was a Belgian and he died, even though, you know, Belgium's not even a real country, it represents him. That was the whole point. So when these wankers have done that, all it's done is underlined all the good work we did with the disgusting ideology that they preach. Anyway, let me do some of these super chats. Phil Drew, he sent me a quid. Looks like he went to the Star Trek. It looks like he went to the Star Trek set though, so he's a good lad. Grasshopper gifted another 5 Angry Bootneck memberships. Thanks for that, Grasshopper. It really does help. And Joe did the same. Cheers, Joe. Ragnar, please hunt 4 more released by... Amazing. Let me just type that in so I can cover that shortly. 4 more prisoners. I love it. I love it. I love it. Never stops, does it? Unbelievable. We'll get to that shortly. Joe loves me. Clearly, Joe's having a few gallons of Prosecco tonight. Cheers, Joe. Phil Jury, brazen bull for SA offenders. Yes, couldn't agree more. That old fella said what everyone's thinking. He definitely did. They made the poppy a ball sack. Yeah, well, I guess maybe that represents Boy George. Stop it, I can't breathe for laughing. Yeah. And Ava Tommy Tank, PMSL. Again, you don't do that very often when you're my age, do you? Be a nice change, but can't, because you've got to spit in a tube and send it to the local police department if you want to fling yourself around your fucking bedroom. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable state of affairs. Anyway, before I get to this story, I need to rest my vocal cords from shouting for a bit. So let's watch the poor old fella who I was talking about earlier, because I had to clip that. I had to clip the original clip so much because YouTube's ridiculous with copyright claims, and Good Morning Britain like aggressively takes down anything which you show for too long with a copyright claim. However, a live stream, I don't think it matters. They'll just demonetize the stream. So I'll play you some of this without clipping it, just so you can see how condescending and slimy the wankers in the studio were when this fella started talking. So have a listen to this. And I'll blow it up a bit.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well,
That's amazing, isn't it? And then this little arsehole chirps up, what do you mean by that? Sounds a bit racist. Sounds a bit racist. Oh, quick, organise a protest. Throw the old man in the sea for progressivism. Yeah. Throw the pensioner in the ocean out of tolerance and harmony, blah, 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 blah. Get him and all 28 million people who think like him and have them all ground to powder in the name of tolerance. Yeah. Makes loads of sense. No sense. Grind them all to paste and feed them to prisoners in third world gulags ran by religious fanatics who systematically exterminate Christians in the name of tolerance. Yeah, because they're the good people, and you, perfectly normal English citizen who gets a little bit upset when you read about children being murdered, you're the bad person. Yeah, you're the bad person for getting angry when little girls and innocent wives and children get blown to pieces by foreign mercenary killers invited in by British politicians and fed, clothed and watered by your taxes. You're the bad person for getting angry about it, and they're the good person for saying that you're a bigot. Yeah, you're intolerant. Of course they are.
well, I'm
What
sorry.
what do you mean by that, though?
What do you mean by that? How dare you? How dare you argue with the orthodoxy of the woke church? How dare you, you contemptible scum?
At this
Well,
point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that because
Oh, I'm sorry, but not really. Not really. And Adil there's like, damn, that was a good answer. Surprisingly eloquent 100-year-old. That was a good answer on it. What do you mean by that? He was hoping he was going to go, oh, well, it's you fellas with a bit of a tan, you know. You're all cousin fuckers. Yeah, that's the problem. Ever since I had a kebab served off a glowing shopping trolley in an alley in Middlesbrough, I've had the shits, you know. It was full of, like, mutant two-headed chicken gristle and asbestos and semen because third world barbarians cooked me it. That's the problem. It's you fuckers. They were desperate for him to say that, and he didn't. He went, we've got less freedom now than we did then. So, checkmate, wank shaft. That was amazing. That was amazing. It's like, yeah, that's why. Because we're less free. We're less free. It's obvious. Did the police arrest people for telling jokes in 1943 when Dankula got nicked for his famous Gestapo pug shenanigans? Everyone talked about this, how there was a bloke who got arrested by the Gestapo because they thought he was mocking the Führer. And they let him go. And I believe it was because he taught his dog to do a salute. And the actual 1942 Gestapo let him go. But the British police prosecuted Count Dankula. So what are you talking about? He's 100% right. It is less free now. God's best friend's back on. What's the difference between New York and Gaza? The buildings are still standing. Well, that's a profound difference. Not for too long, though. Yeah, don't get cocky if you're in New York, because not for too long. That'll be Snake Plissken will need to get sent into New York by the end of about 2027. Sanctuary of Truth said, up the borough. Love your show. Please don't stop. Well, I'm not going to because unlike you lot, I'm tooled up and I think the Met Police can't get at me. So I'll keep on keeping on. What's the difference between Gaza and New York? In New York, there are still 4B2 hostages. Did they let them all go? I don't know. Did they let them all go? I know half of them were brown bread, which is par for the course for the rat bags in... well, again, all they've done is done what I've been advocating for many years. I think my response for dealing with the problem in Palestine, this is in about 2007 when I was in Afghanistan, was set off a 10 kiloton nuke every 5 kilometres, turn the entire nation into glass, and then build a gigantic water park on it, get the tourists in, make it into like a Wet and Wild with loads of like good slides and bouncy castles and titty bars and shit. And then you might actually get some use out of the region because you're never going to get anything useful out of it if it's simply full of cousin fuckers. They should be ordered to apologise for that. They should be, yeah. Let's have a little bit. They're going full authoritarian. Why don't we have them dragged out by soldiers and forced to suck his toes? You know, like Charles Bronson was doing when he was bench pressing them Iraqis in his cell. Suck me toes. They should get Adil Ray in an apron as his living maid for the next, well, however long he lives. No fixed aboard, jailed for the usual. Mighty Moore, Wajid Koko, Tamworth, place of holiday and protest after Southport. Oh, another one, eh? Is that his name, Koko? Is that real? Let me just Google that. Koko, yeah. Oh my God. I thought it was a piss take, like Koko the clown. Look, and this is what I'm talking about. It's every day, right? So Koko's been up to his nuts in guts, right? As against some poor innocent victim. And 9 years. So he'll be out in 4. Mighty Mo Waji Koko, that definitely sounds like the clown's name, of no fixed address. Belted one into some woman. That's him. Koko, Christ almighty. How far apart are his eyeballs? He looks like Jar Jar Binks. Okay, so there he is. Flat, proper, ears proper, Gungan rebel. That guy. So what was he doing here? Koko the clown. Koko the clown will be out in 4 years, and guess what? He won't get deported. He won't get deported. Because the people in charge think it's totally fine. Oh, you can't see that. Have I just got rid of me? Where's Koko? Hang on. Hang on. He's around here somewhere. Koko. There he is, look. Right, Koko. Mohammed Waji Koko. Here he is. Jar Jar Binks. There you are. Jar Jar. Misa gonna die. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This is what we do. He's not getting deported. You know he's not getting deported because it's all part of the plan. So I'm telling you, back to the original point, all of the institutions are captured. All of them. It's on purpose. It's on purpose that the RNLIs walk. It's on purpose that the RBLs walk. It's on purpose that the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines are walk. It's on purpose that the House of Lords and the House of Commons and the Civil Service and the College of Policing and the judges and the lawyers give Mighty Mo Koko 4 years in prison for rattling some bird till her eyeballs bled and then ditch him onto the streets to do it again and again and again, because then you're all getting demoralised and then you'll allow any attacks to curtail your liberty in the desperate name of safety. And again, this shit's as old as time, which hence the Jefferson quote. You give up a little liberty for temporary security, you get neither. This is why they do it. Do you honestly think violent murderers and surprise sex enthusiast gungans with side eyes. Do you honestly think anyone who actually cared about the public safety would ever allow it to happen? If they just gave him to me with a plastic bag over his head and some tie wraps around his wrists and said, watch him, he ain't getting out. I'm not a professional prison, but he ain't getting out. I'd be like that Ariel, what's his name, the bloke with them 2 girls in his cellar for like 20 years out here. Ariel Castro. He's not getting out. I just 7 chains round his arms and legs and he's on my radiator for the next 45 years. They'd let him out on purpose because they want to demoralise you. So this is it. This doesn't happen by mistake. And then let's do the story Ragnar told me about before I piss off. So there we are, another one. UK police hunt for, 2 more wrongly released prisoners. I thought it was 4 more now. So are we up to 4? Another 2. Brahim Kadua Sharif, wrongly freed. Now it's hunting for Bill Smith. He almost sounds like a native. Algerian diddler, thieving diddler. Smith, what's he done? Fraud. Who else? Hadush Kababu. It's unbelievable. So it's on purpose. In fact, you know what I'm going to end with? I'm going to end with an American with a story that's gone on over here because it just proves more of the same, more of the same. These people are completely deranged and they're living in a fantasy land where only the powerfully indoctrinated can believe it because they're on the wrong side of every single argument. What's this shit from Liz Webster? Oh my, I can't hear. I'm not going to get into it. It fills me with fury. Basically, if the constant defense of killers and surprise sex enthusiasts and stone cold murderers and suicide bombers and child killers, if the constant defense of those people isn't enough evidence for you, let's try a different tack and go with something not really related to like foreigners or immigration or the religion of many pieces, any of their local buzzwords or anything. Let's take a different approach and go for something that's not generally related to the alphabet community or religion and talk about the United States bombing drug mules, right? Because it's not related to any of that shit, but somehow they're still on the wrong side of it. So I like to think this illustrates what I'm talking about from a different angle. I put this up yesterday, right, in response to this BBC story. Not stopping people dying from drugs is a crime against humanity. It is. Do you know how many people die of drugs in the United States every year? Shall I have a look? How many people die of drugs in the United States? There you go. This is what I'm talking about. So approximately 110,000 people every year, it's been consistent from 2021, die of drug overdoses. More than a football stadium. These are people with lives and loved ones, people that care about them. 110,000 every single year. And yet, because they insist on being immune to logic and on the wrong side of every argument, even when it's not related to the woke stuff, the purple-haired honking bits of kit, the Hoover beasts, the LGBT community, black, brown, whatever you want. This is just basic common sense. They're still on the wrong side of it. US boat strikes are a crime against humanity, according to an ICC prosecutor. And all the woke are like, oh my God, crimes against humanity. Will nobody think of the drug dealers? Yeah, put me down for not thinking of the drug dealers. Crime against humanity. So again, this is what I'm telling you. Doesn't matter. It's completely away from the woke stuff, race, religion, colour, creed. All this is dangerous killers, the worst killers in the world, the cartels, the ones that chop people's heads off with chainsaws, people traffickers, proper evil, right? And somehow, the BBC and the left are on the wrong side of it. They're like, the 110,000 people who die every year of drug abuse, who cares? Who cares about them? But the 8 career criminals, stone cold killers, coke smugglers, hardened criminals. Oh, it's a crime against humanity. 110,000 dead civilians isn't a crime against humanity. And 180,000 dead civilians isn't a crime against humanity in Sudan because the regulars at the snack bar are doing it. But killing like 6 or 7 hardened drug mules, that's a crime against humanity. Pull your tongue out of my arsehole, Mr. Judge, Mr. ICC prosecutor. This is what I'm talking about. These people are completely fucking deranged. And they're on the wrong side of every single argument. And that, I think, is a nice place to stop, isn't it? Because it's totally away from the alphabet community, the colour, the religion, the race. They can't get on the right side of an argument that is interested in freedom and happiness and safety for the human species. It's that simple. These people kill hundreds of thousands of people every year. And the real problem is killing 5 hardened criminals. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. They are evil. They are anti-humanity. They are controlling freaks who want to push abortions and euthanasia and drug abuse and fentanyl, promote all of it, promote cousin fucking, promote incest, promote murdering, promote surprise sex enthusiasm. This is why they let them out. This is why they import them. This is why they go soft on them. This is why they write long puff pieces on the BBC. The surprising benefits of being a degenerate. They want you to be addicted, miserable, and unhappy. They ruin every institution. They ruin your hobbies. They want you addicted, fat, unhealthy. It's on purpose. All of it is linked. All of it. And that is just a classic way to explain it, completely outside the culture war stuff, because they're defending the people who kill hundreds of thousands of people every year and calling it a crime against humanity to kill 4 or 5 hardened criminals. But what they're doing, not a big of a deal. So to sum up, I like to think I've proved this right over the last 55 minutes, right? I've proved my point beyond any reasonable doubt. All the institutions are all corrupt. It's all on purpose. The scum that rule the world with an iron fist want you to be fat, drunk, drugged up, in a degenerate relationship, getting tent-pegged by your 4th girlfriend in your polycule, right? Doing rails off a bent copper's cock, drug-addled, mentally ill, pill-popping, children getting fingered, everything bad for you. Because if everything is bad, they'll control your body and soul. You'll reach out to them and you'll willingly say, place the chains on me, Klaus. Place the chains on me, Daddy Klaus. That's what you'll do. So listen to me. What have I been telling you for the last 5 years? Stay fit, stay focused, keep your sense of humour, laugh maniacally like I do. Doesn't matter what they take from me, doesn't matter what they do to me. I will never, ever suck Klaus's left testicle in exchange some malleable, weird, misty promise of safety. Eat my arse, Klaus. It's not happening. I'll retain my sense of humour. I'll keep fit. I won't be a pill-popping, tent-pegging, sexual deviant shitbag. I'll have good relationships, good friends, good family, good hobbies, keep fit, and I'm not playing the game. And I don't care how many times you tell me that getting bummed by 8 rent boys is a good idea. All right? Easy. Oh, yeah. Super chat, sorry. Gaza, no more fixed addresses. Religious class-based diddler privileges is a serious problem. Oh, it definitely is. Definitely is. Johnny Deputy, 10 squid, what is the favourite firearm you own and why, brother? Well, it's me Glock 19, I think. I've got a really hoofing AR with a laser sight on it. It's mint. But I don't like it for inside the building because it's a bit long. So I feel like if I was taking a wide angle around a wall or something, I might get tagged. My Glock's got a laser sight on it. It's an inch off the barrel, so it's super accurate. I could blow your cock off from 50 foot barely aiming it. It's tiny. It fits my hand really good. You can get an extended magazine for it. I've also got a nice Tokarev shotgun, a pump action, 5 rounds in the spout, just like the Gucci one Arnold had on Terminator 2. What else have I got? I've got a little Ruger LCP because that's a small subcompact that fits neatly in my wife's hand, and I like us to have a nice crossfire going on in our bedroom. I've set it up so if we're forced to barricade ourselves in it, we can get sort of like 2 different angles on the one entrance to the room. And then, once we've took them out, I can like empty the house with my long-barreled weapons. But Glock 19 is my favourite. Great firearm. Never ever had a stoppage with it. No complaints. Reliable, accurate, lightweight, easy. Thanks for the super chat. No fixed aboard. Scruffy foreign tramp. Can we use the nice politically correct term, scruffy foreign tramp, please? Foul-smelling, scruffy, horrible, dirty foreign tramp is the term they like to use. Welcome to Richard Reynolds. You remember, you are important to me now. And God's best friend, can you introduce us to the lady wife? Nah, she definitely won't stick her head on. She's if you can't tell, I'm the extrovert in this relationship. She's not the type. Anyway, right, I'll call it there, boys and girls. That was an hour of shouting. My throat's a bit hoarse. I'm going to go back to sleep for an hour or two, I think, and then I'm going to go on the piss tonight. Work's paying, so I will get absolutely hammered. Have a good weekend. I might do a stream tomorrow if I'm not too hungover. Thanks for all of the promoting and the super chats and the likes and shares and all of that bollocks. Remember what I told you lot. Keep your chins up. Keep your sense of humour. Don't let the perverts tell you up is down and left is right. Doesn't matter how many times they tell you, who's telling you it, or what the institution from the formerly exalted institutions come from. They're all liars. They want you to be miserable. Don't fall for it. Okay? See you later. Have a good night. Toodle pip.